Hello and welcome to this screencast. In this screencast, I'll go over developing in REPLs using Acme. In Acme, there is a program called Win that provides a limited shell that users can use to run REPLs. Usually, most REPL-intensive development, specifically Lisp development, is done in Emacs. This is usually due to Emacs's superb support for sending code from the code buffer to the underlying REPL and providing the user with powerful debugging tools. In this screencast, I'll go over how to achieve the former in Acme to create a more friendly REPL development workflow. Illustration: piping code by copying code and pasting it. To copy some code, one can use the snarf command. The snarf command copies the selected text to the snarf buffer. One should note that snarf does also copy the text to the clipboard. So if I do snarf again, just in case, it does copy it. Afterwards, the user can use the send command to send the text using the win buffer. So if I try to launch win, that was accidental. Let's try to do win cat, because cat is a very simple program. For those that don't know, cat basically gets in the input and then prints that to the output, and it's usually used to concatenate multiple files or multiple inputs into one output. So if I do snarf and I do send, it works as intended. Illustration: copying the selected text and piping it at once. Although the previous approach is technically doable, new users might not have the patience to snarf and send. Furthermore, the approach itself seems finicky. Surely we can do better. I had this exact thought and I wonder what could be done. The approach I came up with was to select text in a buffer outside of Win, execute a command, and have that selected text be sent to Win. So to illustrate what I mean, let's just try to do basic Lisp development. So here I have a main.lisp function. If I do main SBCL, which SBCL stands for Steel Bank Common Lisp. It's a Common Lisp implementation. It's an implementation of ANSI Common Lisp, which is a standard. I do snarf here. I do send here. That's accidental. Sometimes you have to press snarf twice. It defines hello world, right? But if I want to define hello world too, and modify some code here, make it print hello world 2, and then I do send, it does that, but it's so manual. So it turns out by finding where the send command is, one can send a synthetic event to execute the send command. So the process would be copying the selected text from the clipboard, executing the send command in the background, using the synthetic event, and then afterwards copying the previous text that was found in the clipboard before the selection. So what I mean by that is, so the way that we currently do it is we snarf and then we send. What if there was a way to write some command like this one, and then if I execute the command, it automatically copies this, it snarfs it, as they say, and then it sends it to the output directly without the user having to move his or her mouse or their mouse much, right? You just do middle button click and then voila, the code is sent from here to here. So the way to do it is to read the events and then try to understand what the events file is. Now, to explain what I mean, you can go to man for Acme. For those that don't know, I'll still right click. So for those that don't know, Acme comes in with a 9p server, and that 9p server could be used to manipulate Acme's internal state. So there is a file in this Acme 9p server. It's called event. So here's the description. But what we're interested in is the M, which stands for mouse. So if we look up top here, the origin characters are E for writes to the body or tag file, F for actions through the Windows other files, K for keyboard, and M for the mouse. Alright, and then if we go down here, we see that for text inserted to the tag, sorry, L for a button 3 in the button 3 action in the body, L small for a button 3 action in the tag, R for a shifted button 3 action in the body, and then R small for a shifted button 3 action in the tag, and then X for a button, capital X for button 2 action in the body, and X for a button 2 action in the command. So the reason we need to do that, we need to understand this, is so we can understand the syntax of the events in order to create the synthetic event. So to illustrate what I mean, if we do echo WinID, we see that it's WinID is number 2. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do 9p read acme2 event. So although this is the description for how to parse event files, one could use this to also write event files from outside of Acme. So for example, if I do 9p read acme2 event, and then I select this text and I do snarf, we could see that this event executes the snarf command. Now this does not work, and the reason it doesn't work is because whenever you read the Acme event file for any window, it sends the events to the standard output of the client reading it, and then it doesn't process the events, so you have to process it some internal way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill 9p, and then I'm going to copy this command, and then I'm going to echo it to the event, and what it should do is it should snarf whatever text I'm selecting. So I'm going to do this, I'm going to read acme2 event, write acme2 event. I guess that is some bad syntax. Then I suppose we could copy the other one, add the mx45, and then write it. Oh, I suppose there was a put command, so I'm gonna insert it here. Well, that's very interesting. 9p. Well, okay, to mitigate this, let me try to explain it in a different way. So let's try to read acme2 tag. So, and then let's count all these characters. It's 54. So we can make a synthetic event by using the counted characters that we had. So I'm going to do mx, so m stands for mouse, x stands for middle button in the tag, and then 5454 is the offset for the button. Now previously we had mx, if I do undo here, these are the events that we had, right? And although these events are technically correct, and this one is technically does not match any of these, we could use this one to write an event, and it should work as intended. So if I do this, and then I do send here, it sends the command to the bottom. Okay, to illustrate again, let's execute the command look. So look basically searches the entire buffer, and it selects that occurrence. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the tag as I did before, and then I'm gonna look for buffer and count all the characters until buffer. So I do something like this, and then I do pipe that to WC basically WC, and then space -c counts all the characters in the input. So it says 54. So if I do 5454, it should. No, that's interesting. Why does it do that? 9p read acme tag. it's here, and then let me do with L. I figured L would be easier to do. Okay, 55. Yeah, it searches for the thing as intended. Oh. Well, that's an interesting occurrence. Let's delete the snarf and buffer. Let's delete the output too. Let's read it again. Should update. Now it has the look. I guess look command, and let's count all the, yeah, and now it's 50. Let's do mx 50, 50, and let's select a comma so it's easy. Sorry. Let's do 49, 49. I think it's a bug because there are a lot of there are some lines there. Okay, this is very interesting. Let's do 30. Okay, how about this? I'll read it at the event and then I'll send it verbatim. Okay, kill 9p. And then, sorry, beat the tag. So let's do 50. And then 50, 54, 04, look. Right? And the reason I did 50, 54 is because that's the offset. Oh wow, that's very interesting. Okay, so, oh, it tried to set it back. I forgot to make it an event. I suppose the look command can't be created. So what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna move on to create the actual script that we want to create. But this is an interesting bug to keep note of. I'm gonna create an acme-send-win. Then I'm gonna make it executable. So let's describe what we want to do in shell commands. So check if this exit 1 if this is ran in an acme outside of an acme buffer. Exit 1 if we can't find the win shell buffer. Let's read the content. Let's also do one more thing, which is exit 1 if the synthetic event cannot be created, i.e. send isn't present in the tag. Lastly, copy the clipboard, the current clipboard for later use. Copy the selected text from the current acme buffer. Let's also do execute the synthetic event, and then copy the original clipboard value to the, yeah, I think that'll be it. So to check if you're running in an acme buffer, let's just check for win ID. If it's empty, exit 1. So if I do this, it shouldn't. Oh, okay. Let me wrap it in an if condition. If, then done. Sorry, if I. It doesn't exit. Okay. Now exit 1 if we can't find the shell buffer. Now to determine the shell buffer, I'll create this shell1 ID value. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's the first parameter. I'm going to copy whatever this is and then paste it here. Now to do that, it's very simple. Do this. And now if I do that, it doesn't work. But if I do SBCL, it does work as intended. Now to get the synthetic event to see if it's created, we want to check if the send exists in the first line. So the way to do that is you want to read the acme index. And for those that don't know, if I execute an IP read acme index with middle click, by selecting the middle click, it will give you the win ID, some other information, and then the file name, right? And then next to the file name is the tag. So what I'm going to do is I am going to check for the 6th column, which is the file name, and then check if it matches this parameter, the shell, let's call it shell name. That would be better to do. And then if it doesn't return anything, then we just exit out. So let's do awk, and then let's do shell name, and then yeah, let's make sure that the line is the column. And no, I thought about making the column the 6th column. I thought about matching the 6th column with the regular expression, but I suppose that can't be done. So I'm guessing that it can't be done, so I'm just gonna do that. Although awk is it's like the Swiss knife of text and data processing. But I just don't know, and I don't want to waste too much time on it. So if the regular expression matches, print the ID, which is the first column, and then exit. And then if we could do shell1 ID, and then wrap that in some quotes. And then if the shell1 ID is empty, exit with 1. So if I do something like this, it shouldn't exit with 1. Matter of fact, it should print, well, in our case, let's see where SBCL is. It's this one, it's 21. It should print 21. I didn't put yet. It prints 0. Oh, okay, then let's say if that, or shell1 ID equals 0. I suppose this is the wrong syntax. Oh, this pipes it, I suppose, yeah. I need to make it an OR, a Boolean OR. What? Is it just OR, or is it something else? I don't recall. Oh, I think what I need to do is do something like this, then do something like this. Yeah, it exits with 1. So if it's equal to 0, it should exit with 1. Now, why does it exit with 1 so far? Let's try to see the awk script, and then let's print this shell1 ID. Oh, the reason it exits with 1 is because the awk script is invalid. We have to escape the $sign. Yeah, now it prints 21. And which one is 21? It's this one. So that it matches to the correct output. Now, here I'm gonna use xclip. Now, one note about Acme is that from Acme 9 port is that it uses xorg. So if I do xeyes, I can see that the xeyes move with this. But if I launch a Wayland application like foot, the xeyes do not move. Now, for those who don't know, this program xeyes, it moves the eyes, these eyes, whenever the XOR detects an input. So for this one, it detects an input. So what this means is that acme is an XOR application, but if I go to the mainland application, the eyes suddenly do not move. So that's a note to keep note of. That's why I'm using xclip, because xclip works for XOR. And acme reads xclip, for those that don't know. So I'm reading xclip, I'm saving the clipboard here. Now what I want to do is read the current selected text. And to do that is very simple. Although this is undocumented, it's not found in the acme 4 page here. Like if I look up the file that I want to read, RDSEL, you will not find it because it doesn't exist. But I found it through digging through the acme 9P server. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do ONID and then RDSEL. So to do that, now the reason I'm going to do that is just to show you how it works. So if I do something like this and then execute it, well, this is very interesting. It's stuck for some reason. Let's try to do it in another window. Oh, it's still 9P read acme when ID. Okay, let me try to demonstrate it in a different way. Okay, and then 9P read acme 25 RDSEL. Yeah, that works as intended. I'm guessing there is something with the... Oh, I think it's with the clipboard. Right, I think it's with the clipboard. If I comment this out, and then I try to select this text, it prints it as intended. Now, xclip for some reason is hanging, but it shouldn't be. I know what should be done. Paste the current clipboard into a variable for later use. So what this was doing, it was waiting for input. So it should be output. So copy the selected text from the current buffer to the clipboard. And the way we do that is xclip I. And then we need to execute the synthetic event. But I forgot something. This should be here actually. And this should also be here. And the reason both of those should be here is because I didn't check if the synthetic event can be created. I forgot about that, so I'm gonna do it right here. And the way to do that is to read the shell when ID tag, the tag of the when buffer, and then do awk, and then find the send command. And then when you can find the send command, you print the string and the offset. The offset of the string. So the way to do that is to do a match. And first of all, let's make sure it's for the first line. So tags can have multiple lines. So this is the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, fifth line. You just want to read the first line. And we also want to match for first of all, let's check the whole line instead of one column. And then we want to match for the send word. And then what we want to do is we want to print f the synthetic event rstart. Now the reason we did rstart is because, and then we want to exit as well. The reason we did rstart is because when match is successful, it would return something that is non-zero, which means this block would run, and then the rstart value is set to where this offset starts, and then rlength means the length of the matched expression. In layman's terms, if we execute this, we'll probably get something like 50 or 40, something along those lines. Get 50-50. Now, if I remove the send command, or I just add it, I make it CIND or whatever, it does not return anything. And the reason it doesn't return anything is because this does not run, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make this event. I'm gonna turn this into an event, and what I'm gonna say is the same as above, which is if the event is empty or it equals mx00. It shouldn't equal mx00. It should be just empty if it doesn't exist. But that's just check. So if I do this, it's gonna exit with 1. If I delete it, it's gonna exit with 1. That was accidental. Yeah, it does exit with 1. If I return it back and make it send as is, it's not gonna exit with 1. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna echo event to 9p write, and then write that to the shell1 ID event, and then I'm gonna rewrite the old clipboard to the old clipboard value to the x clip, like so. So in total, what this should do is, if I go to the temp main Lisp, and then I do hello world 3, and I do acme send win, and then I give it this parameter, it should define it, pipe this code from here, and then it should this code should appear here without me having to use the send command. So let's see. Oh, that was accidental. Okay, good. So let's try again. Make it 4. Yep, it does work. And now if I try to execute it using the notation, yep, it does work. So hopefully you learned a couple of things from this Acme screencast. I do intend on making more screencasts regarding developing in REPLs using Acme. Although this screencast is a bit short, I intended to make it more detailed, but I thought that the video being longer means that some people wouldn't make it through because the video is so long. So I wanted to just zero in and focus on piping code using the clipboard utility. Though I do intend on making future videos that allow for creating the piping the code without using the clipboard management, and maybe also using hotkeys. So tune into that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and have a good day.